heading back to school and back to routine after summer break. It is exhausting and draining for children, and that means many parents, teachers, and caregivers have been witnessing tantrums and meltdowns. But did you know there was a difference? I didn't. And that means there are different approaches to managing those big emotions. So let's talk about it with parenting coach Tia Slightum. Great to have you on. I've experienced this past week. I picked my 6-year-old up from her second day of grade 1, and it was like she was holding in that energy all day, and then it was just an outburst of emotions. I thought that was a tantrum, but I think, in fact, it was a meltdown. So explain the two.
Yeah, absolutely. Oftentimes, parents use these terms interchangeably, and it's not because they want to. They just don't know. Parenting is a learned skill. It's not intuitive. And when we look at tantrums and meltdowns, it's important to know that they are two different behaviors so we can help our kids in those big moments. So the symptoms of tantrums and meltdowns look exactly the same, which is why it's so confusing. We're gonna see crying, screaming, stomping feet. For older kids, you might see slamming doors, back talking, refusing to cooperate. So when we have the same symptoms, it's hard to know the difference, which is why we need to know the cause of each behavior.
Okay, so what can we be looking for to figure out the cause?
Yeah, so if we're looking at tantrums, the cause of it is your child's mad about a situation. They're so frustrated, they're so upset, they wanna stay at the park longer, they want to stay on their device, they want to have ice cream for breakfast. So they're going to let you know how mad they are in hopes that you might give in, which is why as parents it's important to hold consistent boundaries. Meltdowns differs in the fact that we want to think about it as a very overwhelming experience. So like your daughter yesterday, overwhelmed by her new day at school. Think of it as a pitcher of water that we're filling up and it's overflowing over the top. At one point, you can't take anymore. And so your child feels that same way in those meltdowns. They're overwhelmed physically and emotionally, and we need to know the difference so that we can help support them in those moments.
Okay, so let's talk about how we support them. Let's start with tantrums. So if you recognize that your child's having a tantrum, what do you do?
So what we're gonna do is my 3-step simple strategy: validate, choice, space. So first you're gonna validate their feelings so they feel seen, heard, and understood. Then we're gonna give choice so we can give back some of that lost power that they're feeling in that moment when you're telling them they need to leave the park or they can't have ice cream for breakfast. And then we're gonna offer space. It's okay to have feelings, it's okay to have emotions, and we need to give our kids some time to have those feelings. So that might look something like, for example, if your kids want ice cream for breakfast.
Okay, let's role play.
Yeah.
I want ice cream. I'm not leaving the park until you give me ice cream. Then what do?
You're gonna validate, choice, space.
What do you say?
I hear you would like ice cream for breakfast. There's your validation. Then you're gonna offer a choice that makes sense for you and holds a boundary. You can either have ice cream after lunch or dinner, your choice. If they cannot calm down in that moment, there's where you give them space and you walk away. Don't just walk away and ignore them, but rather let them know. I'm gonna walk away in a calm way. I'm gonna walk away and give you some space. Let me know when you're ready. I'm happy to help you.
What if they follow you?
If they follow you, which happens often.
All the time.
I know, all the time. You wanna-
You run.
You lock the door, you run. No, you wanna hold the boundary for you. One of the things we do often is we force our kids, we force them into their room, we force them on a stare or a timeout. We want a role model, we only control ourselves. So you control you walk away, put yourself in the bathroom, lock the door, let them know calmly you're gonna come out when they're ready. It's okay to hold a boundary for you without forcing our kids.
The physical boundary. I have not locked myself in a bathroom yet, but I will do that.
It's a good one.
I will do that. Okay, so if you recognize they're having a meltdown, how do you approach that?
It's a little bit different this way. This is where we just need to help them through the moment. So you put on your superhero cape and you think, how can I be calm? How can I hold my emotions in? And how can I guide them through this moment? You might take them outside for a deep breath, help them reset, offer them a hug, help them switch the situation so that they can take a minute to breathe and calm down.
If you find yourself in the situation, you start making promises, which I think we all have. I'll be like, if you do this, then I will provide this for you. How do you avoid that situation? We're not supposed to do that, right?
Yeah, we're gonna avoid empty threats or bribery or rewards because unfortunately that's gonna be a Band-Aid solution. So we're not actually gonna help support our kids. So what I want you to think about is learning to step back, walk away for a moment if you feel like you're gonna give that empty threat, because ultimately you're only gonna make the tantrum or meltdown worse. It's going to teach your kids not to trust that when you say something, you mean it. And so they're gonna push and push and push because kids are born with 2 jobs, one to please you and one to push boundaries until boundaries are found. If you say, if you don't do this, I'm taking away your iPad for the week, or if you don't do this, this isn't gonna happen, your chances of you actually following through with that are slim. And then they say, well, mom or dad said this, I don't actually buy it, so I'm gonna tantrum louder, longer, and harder.
Okay, so stop doing that.
So stop doing that.
Yeah, it's great to see you as always. Great points. Thanks so much.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
Super helpful.
Hey, thanks for watching. If you liked this, be sure to subscribe here, or you can check out more Your Morning videos right here.